Howdy there folks, this is Geist, and this is going to be a video on a series of Stasis builds for each class, all revolving around Verglass Curve. Starting with the Titan here, I'm just going to kind of quickly scroll through each of these builds, looking at an overview here. If you guys want to go ahead and pause the video just to take a look and see at the details, go right ahead. But in the efforts of saving time, I'm just going to scroll through with all three classes. For the Titan, this is mostly built around Shattering Crystals, so you're going to want to run Glacier Grenade, as well as the Hoarfrost Z chest piece, which replaces your barricade with a wall of ice crystals. And in both cases, anytime you're making these stasis crystals, whether with the bow, or whether your grenade, or your chest piece, you can slide through them with the Titan and shatter them. One important thing to note, when you're shattering crystals with the bow, you have to shatter the crystals that the bow makes with the bow itself, either by shooting frozen targets, or by shooting the crystals that the bow has made. Otherwise, this won't create the stacks for the bow's special arrows, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of synergy there. But that's not really what we're looking for with the Titan. With the Titan, we just want to blow stuff up. So between the bow and your grenade and your class ability and then your super, you're just going to make a lot of crystals, shatter them as much as possible, and just blow everything up and have fun while doing it. Intrinsically, this build is capable of stunning unstoppables if you shatter a crystal, as well as overload champions if you slow them using the Titan's barricade ability. You will of course need to bring a weapon that's capable of stunning barrier champions, since we can't do that intrinsically. So in your other slot, I recommend having another primary equipped with whatever the seasonal mod is that allows you to stun barrier champions. And now on to the Warlock, and same as with the Titan, I'm just going to do a quick overview of all of the aspects, fragments, and mods that I'm wearing. And one thing to keep in mind about these builds that I'm showing you guys, you don't have to use the exact same mod setup as I have. If there's something else you'd rather have, you want to swap something around, go for it. Not everything that I'm using is, going to be perfect for you guys as it is for me. I just kind of threw something together that suit my purposes. Really, the bow is doing most of the work for me. I'm definitely just enjoying the loop of making the crystals and then shattering them over and over and over. Now, the Warlock in particular has a lot of synergy with this bow, just because one of their aspects makes it so that whenever you shatter a frozen target, it will immediately spawn a small seeker, similar to the cold snap grenade, that will refreeze another target. All you have to do is make a single crystal near a target, which freezes them, and then you shoot either that enemy or the crystal, shattering that target. It spawns a little seeker, it'll freeze the target, and then that just begins an endless loop, as you'll see me do here in some of the footage. I'll keep shattering and it'll keep freezing over and over and over and over and over. And it just kind of makes for a fun little loop. Now, the reason that I wear the Osmiomancy gloves on the Warlock is just so that I get double stasis turrets. Obviously, you want to equip the cold snap grenades, which you can use the cold snaps themselves as an additional way to start the freezing chain, just like you can use Penumbral Blast to do the same. But having those turrets gives you easy access to stunning overload champions. Anytime you're dealing with an overload champion, throw that turret near one of them and it will repeatedly slow them so that you can deal with them. And all in all, I would say that the Warlock probably has the best synergy with this bow. And now for a quick word from our sponsor. That's right, folks. In the background of every single video, this dumbass is making that noise on repeat so that I have to edit him out. And for the low cost of all your sanity, you can have one too. See, the joke is that I don't have a real sponsor. But anyways... And finally, we have the Hunter. Now, the Hunter is very similar to the Titan in that they're basically just going to be shattering a lot of crystals just to try to create as many explosions as possible. Now, the Hunter, of course, is going to do this with their Shatter Dive instead of sliding like the Titan does. However, one important thing to note is that, ironically, the Hunter is a bit tankier than the Titan is with this build. And the reason for that is because of Renewal Grasps. You can combo that with Whisper of Chains, and anytime you're near your Duskfield grenade, you can stand in it, you'll get bonus damage resistance from that. And also if you're near any crystals, such as the one that's in the middle of your Duskfield grenade or any of the ones that this bow creates. A lot of times, one neat little thing I like to do with this bow, and this actually applies to all three classes, you don't just have to do this on the Hunter. Any three of the classes can slap on Whisper of Chains while you're using this bow, shoot out a barrage of the little crystals, and then destroy most of the crystals, maybe leave one or two of them behind, and you can use it as cover. And then while you're standing next to those crystals, you'll have about 40% damage resistance. Now, that may have been nerfed, and that's something that I've missed, but when I look it up, it still says that it's 40%. Either way, it's definitely significant because I can easily notice the tankiness that I've acquired anytime I'm standing near one of these crystals. And so that can especially save your life in GMs when you're dealing with all those incredibly tanky enemies that are dealing a lot more damage. Now, similar to the Warlock and the Titan, the Hunter does also have some built-in slows with this build, just allowing them to deal with overloads. So again, as with the other two classes, I recommend using your other slot to pack whatever the seasonal weapon is that has a mod that deals with barrier champions. So say for this season, it's piercing sidearms or piercing pulse rifles. So you'd run a pulse rifle or a sidearm just to deal with barriers. That is about the only thing that these stasis builds don't take care of is barriers, so you just want to make sure you have something to deal with that. Otherwise, all three of them should have no problems dealing with unstoppables or overloads. And in general, these are all going to have a lot of tankiness and survivability just because of things like Whisper of Chains or just using the crystals for cover. And then, of course, a lot of ad clear with all the crystals exploding. And with that wraps up all three of my builds on all three classes with for glass. I hope you guys found this info useful. I would say of all three classes, if you want to be as effective as possible with this bow, you should try it on the Warlock, as I still think they're the most effective. If you guys found this video helpful, please drop a like and let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful evening.